Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome to the bonus show. I have some funny follow-up stuff to the Olive Garden thing. First, Dave sent me this story. I guess immediately after the sale of these never-ending pasta passes, there was a black market demand for these. So they went up on eBay, Craigslist, some of them selling for as much as $500, originally selling for $100. Kind of interesting. Also, Sean sent me a YouTube clip of someone named Kendra Wilkinson, who I guess is a Playboy bunny or something of that sort. Yeah, Playboy bunny. Who talks about how much she loves Olive Garden. You have to watch this video. We're not going to play it. Just type in Kendra Wilkinson Olive Garden. It is unbelievable. I think it epitomizes everything that is wrong with Olive Garden and people who think that Olive Garden is a 3-star rated Michelin restaurant.
Do you want me to find it, Lewis? I could maybe play part of it.
If it's pretty short, if you want to play it, I mean, it's sickening.
Let me grab my keyboard here. Kendra Wilkinson Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
It's truly incredible.
Oh, right, Kendra. So Kendra, the Playboy Playmate. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. This is like a reality show person.
My favorite Olive Garden to go to
would have
to be the one in San Diego, across from the sports arena, the San Diego Sports Arena, because my family and I always go to that one for, like, you know, Mother's Day, whatever, and it means a lot to me because, you know, we've been going there for, you know, years now, so that's my favorite one. My favorite thing to eat at the Olive Garden would have to be, it's a toss-up between 3 things. I can't choose between the 3. So I think the 3 things would have to be the artichoke dip, the salad, and the chicken parmesan. If I had
okay, so it has some kind of like sentimental value, sounds like, for her.
Yeah. Are you still playing it?
No, I stopped it now.
Oh, all right. She goes on to talk about how much she loves the salad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you got to watch the whole thing. It makes me embarrassed to be a human being. Verizon is up to something sinister. I don't know why Verizon is in on this, but Verizon is trying to start this thing called auto share. They're starting it with cars. They're kind of modeling this after Zipcar, but they want to be able to turn any car into a Zipcar with what they call auto share. And their description here is that there will be a QR code on a car's windshield. This, I mean, basically you scan it with your phone, and there's a key inside for starting the car. And that's just pretty much it. It's a ride sharing thing. So who owns the car? I don't know. But this is what they're trying to do. And ultimately, they're trying to apply this to everything that can be shared. So lawnmowers, storage spaces, motel rooms, electronic devices.
The interesting thing is I've talked to other people who have had the exact same idea and want to develop a platform for this. It's interesting that I guess Verizon's interest would be in creating the platform for it through one of their services and devices, et cetera. But this is an idea that a lot of people I've talked to have thought of. You know, they don't need their bike or lawnmower all the time. It would make much more sense for people to share it.
Yep. And I can't say that's a bad idea. Why is Verizon interested in this? Well, I guess if the only way to share these things is through a QR code, well, then that would be pretty self-explanatory. You need a phone, and presumably you have Verizon's service. But I wish it were not Verizon. Hopefully, ethical companies that that we respect get involved in this field. So yeah, I don't like the idea of Verizon being involved in this, but I really do think it is a brilliant idea. I think we are not a culture of sharing, and I think we should be. Is that fair to say?
I completely agree with you. Absolutely.
I mean, don't they teach us this in kindergarten? that you should share?
Kids are taught from an early age to share, and it seems like I guess it's not that successful, or it wears off. You need to continue being taught to share through middle school and high school and college.
Yeah. Reminds me of this 30 Rock thing where Jenna walks into Tracy's room and says, "Tracy, I found something." And Tracy just immediately yells, "It's mine. Give it to me," without knowing what it is. Just reminds me of a lot of people.
Very clever.
Okay, the smartwatch, the Apple smartwatch is here. And people are going berserk over this ugly thing. They've poured a lot of money into design. And I'm not sure. I wouldn't wear this thing. It's ugly. I think it's ugly. You can tell me if you think it's ugly. I've had a very hard time trying to figure out if I can't find this information, if this phone is pretty much a standalone phone device, a smart device, or if it needs to be, if it needs to have some type of Bluetooth connection or something with your smartphone.
Right. Every other one that I've seen that truly has a lot of features is Bluetooth to the smartphone. So if your phone gets a text, it'll pop up on the phone, etc.
Right. Right. And so I'm thinking, if that is the case, what's the big deal? Why are you going to spend tons of money on something that just saves you an extra 2 seconds of time? As opposed to if you just don't want to take your phone out of your pocket and look at it.
That's the other thing, that with the Samsung ones, people would look at their text messages on their phone, but that's only useful if you don't need to respond, because to respond, you still need to take your phone out.
You can respond with this watch. Basically, how the watch is going to work is I guess you can still swipe and stuff on the screen, but there's a little knob that turns and you can push, which I guess is kind of like most Apple products. There's one button, and that's the button that you use everything for. So yes, you can get alerts from your text messages. You can respond with text messages. But I guess you can only respond with a bunch of preset responses that are used frequently. It doesn't look like there's any type of keyboard or way to type.
Nice.
There's like a map option, of course. You can do your map thing. And your watch will vibrate when you need to turn. This is for like walking maps. Maybe useful in a place like New York.
I'm not against this type of thing. Like, I think the idea of smartwatches is really cool. I just think that right now we're severely limited by, if it's going to be a convenient size to have on your wrist, it's not going to be a screen size that can do that many things. I think that's the barrier to get past right now.
Yeah, I'm just not impressed with this at all. And who knows how much it's going to cost. And that cost will basically just be paying for like an extension of your already expensive smartphone and service. Can we say that I was right about Google Glasses? Can we say that yet, or is it too early?
Well, remind us of your position, because I remember your position saying that the entire technology is ridiculous.
Oh, I didn't say that. I said that this technology would be fine if this were something you could implant in someone's eye or replace their eye with some type of bionic eye, but that Google Glasses are just an ugly, ridiculous, overpriced, not that useful novelty.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people agreed with that. I maintain what I always thought, which is I think that Google Glasses are a step in the direction of this type of kind of integrated technology that you don't have to have a physical, like a device in front of you that you're pressing things in order to control it. I think it's just a step in that direction. But yes, Google Glasses, they look very odd. Whenever I see someone walk in with them, it's just an odd thing. Although people have gotten used to all sorts of things that humans have done to change their appearances, and they're no longer considered odd. So I may be thinking too short-sightedly when I say that.
Yeah. All right. The Apple Watch, I'm not interested in it. It's just another novelty. I think we just don't have the technology yet to have. I think if this were a standalone device, if this were a smartwatch, if this were something that were sleek and a watch and were the size of a normal watch and did everything your phone could do, then we can talk. But we're not there yet. And I don't think we're going to be there for a long time, because how do you have that watch and still do the same things you do on a big screen on your cell phone, it seems like it would be very difficult. So there needs to be something else going on there. There's a big focus on health and fitness with this thing. So maybe if people want to use it for that, maybe if it's really good at that, it might be worth it for you. But I will not be partaking in this nonsense. Also, I don't have an iPhone, so I can't. Now let's move to Google. Google has just entered a partnership with a big pharmaceutical company. And what they're trying to do is, it sounds like it's basically similar to what our friend Aubrey de Grey is trying to do. And that is fix things that happen with old age. And but they're trying to do it by creating new drugs. So their project to cure death is called Calico. And they're announcing a $1.5 billion research center to work with pharmaceutical company AbbVie. Have you heard of them?
Have not.
Okay, I guess they're kind of a big deal. And that's what's going on here. Each partner has committed to providing $250 million in funding, with the option to each add another $500 million to the project. The money will be used to create a new research center in San Francisco, where Calico will hire a team of researchers to discover new drugs and guide early development. AbbVie will focus more on the clinical trials, late-stage development, and bringing promising new drugs to market.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. And Google has kind of made it clear that they want to be in this field when they hired Ray Kurzweil as their senior or chief technology officer or chief future officer, something along those lines. I'm actually really interested. I know that we critique a lot of the things that Google does, but I'm very interested in seeing, they clearly have the ability to get a bunch of money together and get different players to contribute. They clearly have the ability to organize around the type of tasks and research that require or benefit from many people from different areas working together, and the kind of project management they seem to be really good at. I'm really interested to see what happens with this, unlike a lot of the stuff I hear about big tech companies doing. And
yeah, this seems to be, their two things seem to be artificial intelligence and, advancing, of course, our overall technology in that way. And now this. And they even discuss curing cancer. But what they said about it is kind of surprising. They said that, Page said this, Larry Page said, one of the things I thought was amazing is that if you solve cancer, you'd add about 3 years to people's average life expectancy. We think of solving cancer as this huge thing that'll totally change the world. But when you really take a step back and look at it, there are many, many tragic cases of cancer, and it's very sad. But in the aggregate, it's not as big an advance as you might think. Would you agree with that?
Well, if you're
just
talking about the mean age, he's talking about the mean age. So
yes,
that's the issue, that not everybody gets cancer, right? So what he's basically saying is, if all of the people, he's not saying the average life of a person who dies of cancer is only shortened by 3 years. He's saying that if you were to solve cancer, the total overall life expectancy would go up by 3 years. That's actually huge. I disagree. I don't disagree with him about the numbers. I think we need to interpret the numbers in the right way. And increasing the entire life expectancy by 3 years is hugely significant.
But I think what they're trying to do is increase life expectancy. I think they're trying to increase it by 20 years, by 50 years.
Okay, no, that's fine. And we're talking about different types of technologies, right? I mean, certainly, if you're going to get to that, you need to make sure people aren't dying of cancer one way or another so that they can benefit from those treatments.
Yeah. And, when you think about the fact that, at least last I knew, the statistic was 1 in 4 Americans at some point in their life will get some form of cancer.
I think it's actually quite a bit more than that now.
Wow. All right. Well, that speaks for itself. So I would attach some priority. I would prioritize that if I were them. Plus, once you break that ground, I assume it would be quite profitable, and then you could, you could branch out. But they have the money, they have the resources. as much as you might hate Google for some of the shady things they do, sometimes we need big companies like this to help with advancement. And that's all I got for today. David, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.